Well guys, sacking season is well underway in the Championship. Two big managerial departures last night from the Championship in both Michael Duff and Tony Mowbray, and in today's video we're going to be talking about both managerial departures. I'd like to get your take on this one in the comments down below, whether you're a Swansea fan, Sunderland fan, or just a general fan of the Championship. Plenty to discuss in today's video. As always, if you do go on to enjoy, make sure to leave a like, and let's first of all talk about Michael Duff. So upon his departure, Swansea released this club statement. Swansea City chairman Andy Coleman said this was a very difficult decision and one that was given considerable thought and attention. I acknowledge that there has been a significant amount of change at the club both on and off the pitch during Michael's tenure. I consistently asked for patience as we gave him time to implement his plans and bring the squad together. Unfortunately, we have seen neither the results that we expected nor the progress from the squad that we need. I believe it is now in the best interest of Swansea City to make a change of head coach. And ultimately, the end of Duff's tenure at Swansea, and even the start of it, really was quite miserable. Just one win from Swansea's last 8 Championship matches. They had that small purple patch of the season where things seemed to be heading in the right direction, but let's not forget Swansea were a side, certainly towards the back end of last season under Russell Martin, that we were discussing their potential playoff credentials, and right now they're looking like a relegation candidate. Like Andy Coleman says there, I accept that there has been quite a bit of change on and off the pitch since the back end of last season when they went on that really good run of form under Russell Martin, but there's no denying Swansea have been massively under par this season. And not even just from a results point of view either, but I also think a performance aspect which has really played into this as well. Swansea under Russell Martin always knew what you were going to get, and under Michael Duff that wasn't really the case. And I do accept that coming in after a manager as specific as Russell Martin with that sort of game plan, and you come in as someone like Michael Duff looking to rip up the script and play your own way, implementing that with a squad that's been so accustomed to playing Russell Martin ball for the past couple of years was always going to be a challenge. And those early days at Swansea, especially in those opening months, really were quite testing for Duff. But what is the overall picture for Swansea right now? Well, they're 18th in the Championship and only 5 points above the relegation zone. Now, for the first few months of the season, it was looking like that relegation zone was pretty much sealed up of Sheffield Wednesday, Rotherham and QPR, but with QPR having a significant upturn in form recently under Cifuentes, suddenly I think a lot of the clubs that are just above that dotted line are naturally going to get a little bit twitchy, because QPR are showing that they have got that fight and quality to get out of the situation they're currently in, which would leave another side up for the drop. I think I, like a lot of people, was a big fan of Michael Duff from his time at Barnsley and really excited to see what he could bring to this Swansea side this season. But from a performance aspect, a results aspect, these two things haven't really meshed together. It never felt quite like the Swansea fans ever took to Duff either, and I think when you don't have that emotional connection with your manager, they're always going to be a little bit more on the firing line when things don't go your way. On the flip side of that, if Russell Martin went on the bad run with Swansea, always felt like he had the fans on side with that emotional connection between them, which Duff never quite managed to capture for one reason or another. Despite the position in the table Swansea currently find themselves in, I do still think there's a lot of quality in that squad and a lot of untapped potential which hasn't been brought out of them this season. So despite that relegation zone looming over them right now, I still think that Swansea is quite an attractive job for a number of managers. And let's not forget, there are a number of high profile managers out of work right now. So Swansea fans, I'd like to get your take down below. Any managers that you'd personally be eyeing up for this vacant managerial spot, let me know down below. And then the second managerial departure to talk over is Tony Mowbray leaving his post at Sunderland. Now, the video we did the other week on the channel when we were discussing managers under pressure, Mowbray was one of the most scrutinised bosses of late that we had to speak about. It's a run for Sunderland of just 2 wins from their last 9 Championship matches, and ultimately I think that Mowbray has almost orchestrated his own downfall with setting the expectations so high last season, overachieving with Sunderland, getting them into the top 6 in their first season back in the Championship. And as things have tailed off this season, there have been a few alarm bells ringing. And what is interesting is the underlying numbers for Sunderland this season have actually been fairly decent. For XG created, Sunderland have been the 3rd best side in the Championship this season, and for XG conceded, they've been the 5th best side in the Championship. So those underlying numbers have all been fairly fairly positive, but that's not translated to results recently. Now, a key factor of where Sunderland have gone wrong this season is how wasteful they've actually been at times. So far this season, they've been the third biggest XG underperformer, meaning they have lost a lot of clear-cut chances which they've created. At times, I think you can level at them that maybe there has been a bit of an over-reliance on Jack Clarke there to deliver the goods, and when he's had a bit of a down period, the results have dropped off as a consequence. Having that real lack of a natural number 9 in that squad who's, you know, not been chipping in with any goals because they've not got that player right now has also really hindered them. The loss of Ross Stewart and then not replacing him with a like-for-like forward. Obviously, Sunderland did get away with not having Ross Stewart for the vast majority of last season, but in that period they had Amad Diallo to come up with a lot of big moments, and now no longer having that, there's no denying that the Black Cats have been in a rut recently, and this is where the ownership have looked to change things. Now, I'm not totally surprised at this because there were a few rumblings about Mowbray's future, even going back to the summer where the board was contemplating changing bosses. I think when Mowbray was originally appointed, you know, he came in as a midway season appointment after Alex Neil had left. The original thinking, I at least believed, was that he would come in on a fairly short-term basis. And I think he did catch a lot of people out with just how good and competitive he got Sunderland to be last season and over the line into the top 6. But on the back of that fantastic season, the Sunderland board couldn't then go ahead and make a change because he'd done so well for them. But at the first real hurdle of turbulence with Mowbray at Sunderland, they've made that snap decision. Now, there's no doubt that Sunderland are one of the most ambitious clubs in the Championship. They've got a clear recruitment strategy looking to get youngsters in. And I think that next appointment from Sunderland probably will be very ambitious to match what they want to do over these next few years, and someone coming in maybe with a more long-term vision than someone like Mowbray had. But it is a fascinating decision nonetheless, and Sunderland fans, I welcome your thoughts on this one down below. Also general fans of the Championship as well. There are a hell of a lot of big Championship managers who are currently out of work who I'm sure would absolutely jump at the chance to land the Sunderland job, but the resources that Sunderland have behind them, I'm sure they could prize a few managers away even if they are currently in a job right now. I also do think it goes without saying that Sunderland are one of the most attractive jobs for a new potential manager coming into the Championship as well. That wasn't the case in previous years under the previous regime, where Sunderland was just a toxic mess and any manager going there was risking their reputation almost. It doesn't feel like that anymore. There is a massive project which a young upcoming manager can definitely get behind. They're only 3 points off the playoffs right now, and there's no doubt that the expectation levels are very high. They'll naturally be like that with a massive club like Sunderland in the Championship. But if you do manage to nail it at that club, the sky really is the limit. Well guys, there we have it. That will now wrap it up for today's video. Thank you very much for tuning in. I do welcome your comments on this one down below. What do you make of the dismissals of both Duff and Mowbray? It was a busy evening for Championship fans, to put it that way. Other than that though guys, that will now wrap it up for today's video. If you did go in to enjoy, do leave a like and get your thoughts down below. Make sure to subscribe for some regular Championship content, and do check out the TikTok as well. But apart from that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.